Hello, everybody. Welcome to the channel. Just a couple things before I get started. These videos are not a substitute for therapy. I am not able to give you any advice on your situation, and I would encourage you, if you are in a situation with somebody who you believe has narcissistic tendencies, that you get some reach out to a therapist in your local area. Every situation is a little bit different, so I can't possibly give you any sort of suggestions or recommendations on what to do for your particular situation, but I would encourage you to reach out for help. I've actually had people tell me that, I've hesitated to reach out for help because I'm afraid that the therapist is going to tell me, why don't you just leave? And I don't think most therapists are going to just say that. I know that's advice that you might get from some people that you know. But what they don't understand is that it really isn't that easy. Telling somebody to just leave a relationship shaped by narcissistic patterns is really bad advice because it vastly oversimplifies how complicated these relationships are, and it ignores the really very real forces keeping the person tethered to the relationship. It can leave the person feeling judged and isolated, failing to recognize that leaving is never simple, either emotionally, financially, or psychologically. As I discuss in my book, staying is rarely about weakness, and it's often the result of deeply intertwined emotional, practical, and cultural factors. Here's why Just Leave fails to capture the reality of the situation. This is just a few reasons. There's this emotional entrapment and trauma bonding. You may have heard that term trauma bonding before. Narcissistic relationships often run on intermittent reinforcement, which is the most powerful reinforcement there is. If you think about a slot machine, they get so addictive, right? Because you never know when they're going to pay off. You pull the thing 10 times and it pays off. You pull it 100 times and it pays off once. But it's completely random and unpredictable. Relationships sometimes with their narcissist are like this. They have unpredictable cycles of cruelty, followed by warmth and kindness, and you just don't know when the next cycle of warmth and kindness is going to begin, so that might keep you in that relationship. This also creates a neurological trauma bond that mimics love, but it's actually rooted in survival, and it makes the bond incredibly difficult to break. There's also the erosion of self-trust. If you think about it, years of gaslighting and blame shifting and manipulation oftentimes causes people in these relationships to doubt their own memories and their own judgment. When someone has been conditioned to believe that the abuse is their fault or it's all in their head, well, they lack the self-trust required to make the massive decision to walk away. Finally, there's also financial dependence and isolation. Controlling partners often orchestrate financial abuse by locking access to bank accounts, sabotaging job opportunities, or creating consent and chaos that makes it impossible to plan or to save. I've had patients whose partners have not told them about job opportunities. They've been approached or they've gotten an email, hey, I want to speak with your spouse about something I think that they could do, and then they never get that message. So there's a lot of sabotage that could go on in these kind of relationships. Furthermore, manipulators slowly isolate their victims from friends and family, leaving them believing that they have nobody else to turn to. You might find that they talk negatively about your friends or your family or find ways of blocking you from seeing them. There's also cultural, religious, and family pressures. In some families or religious communities, leaving is framed as a failure or even a sin. Beliefs that family come first or that suffering makes you strong can turn enduring abuse into a twisted virtue, making leaving feeling culturally or spiritually unthinkable. Then there's the high cost of leaving. Leaving is not just an emotional exit, it can carry severe tangible costs. It can mean losing your home, facing brutal custody battles, dealing with smear campaigns, or having to start over completely exhausted. So ultimately, Just Leave is really terrible advice because it treats a deeply complicated survival situation like a simple preference. And as I mentioned in my book, sometimes some of the reasons people stay are realities and they're not excuses. Sometimes they simply stay because it's the most survivable choice in that moment. So That's why that's not such great advice. And in one of my next videos, I'm going to talk about alternatives to leaving. Number one, you put your survival first, and how do you do that? So thank you very much for your time.